Hello guys and welcome to another beginner's deck for Hands of the Gods, and this time we're going to be looking at Zeus, and the deck's going to be Mount Olympus. So this deck is going to revolve around buffing your gods with Zeus ability and synergize it all around gods. And Zeus ability, first of all, will give a friendly god +1/+1. So whenever you have a high health god on board, you can keep buffing him and buffing him, and he's going to gain health and attack, and he's going to be a threat for your enemy. So let's start with the early game of the deck, right? It's going to be a mid-range deck. It's going to be also really good in the late game, a little bit good also in the early game, and that's going to be the goal here. So we're going to have two marksmen. Marksmen are whenever a god enter the battlefield, they will gain +1/+0 attack. So that synergizes really well with the idea of having multiple gods in your deck, much more than in the other decks. Now, moving forward, we're going to go with your first common, which is going to be Touch of Midas. And I really wanted to do all my beginners deck with 48 dust, which means we're going to have 6 commons, and Touch of Midas are going to be 2 of them, if you have to craft them, of course. So it's going to discover a god for you, but it's going to discover a god from any pantheon. Doesn't mean it's going to be Greek. So you could get legendaries, you could get really good gods from other pantheons, and it goes well with the god theme in the deck also. And that's why we're going to have 2 Touch of Midas. Now, not only that, but we'll also have Judgment here, and it's going to be another one of your commons, and it's going to deal 2 damage to a unit, and if you control 2 or more gods, you're going to deal 4 damage instead. So that's why we want a lot of gods in this deck to synergize this with Judgment here. Now we also going to play Sentry Ward, and this card is just really cool for new players, that you can steal legendaries from your opponent, and you can use them against them. And it's always fun to, steal a card from your opponent and learn a little bit more of the cards that are in the game, even though you're not playing Greek, and then you can surprise them with that. So that's going to be the early game of the deck. Now we're going to move into, the 3 mana drops, and we're gonna have Brontus. So Brontus is like Marksman, but instead of gaining an attack, he gains an health each time you one of your gods enter the battlefield, and he's going to be melee instead of range. So that's going to be Brontus, and then we're gonna have 1 Chaos Spawn. Now this guy, you don't want to play him on turn 3. You want to use it to much more to control or to negate one of your opponent's guys, since silence, it will negate all text on an enemy card, silence an enemy basically. So that's what we have a Chaos Spawn to bring a little bit more control into the deck. Now we will also have here, where is it? Stone of Gaia, and you're going to see this card much more useful when you're going to see the gods that we put into the deck, because this doubles a friendly health, a friendly unit's health. It doubles it basically. And remember when I was talking about you want a guy on board that can survive, and then you keep buffing him with Zeus and it becomes a really big threat? Well, Son of Gaia is going to make sure that you can achieve that easily. So you're going to have 2 of them. Now, moving on, we're going to have Aphrodite. She will have a war cry that whenever she enters the battlefield, she would give a friendly protect. And if it's a god, like we will play a lot, you give it protect too. Now, you're probably wondering, what is protect? Well, protect here tells you that it reduces the damage taken from a basic attack by the specific amount. So each time your god that she will be linked to, that has protect to, will attack or be counter-attacked from basic attack, it will be reduced from 2. So that's really good to make it survive. And she's also ranged, and if you start buffing her, that could be also really good, especially that, like, the first time you buff her, she goes from 1 attack to 2 attack. It's like 100% buff. Moving forward, we're going to have Beacons and Ope, and that's going to be your last common. And Beacon and Ope will spawn a random Greek god for you. And trust me, I did the math with the community, and there's much more good gods that you can have for 4 mana than that bad ones. So that's really interesting here for you guys as a new player. Then we're going to have Deicide, which kill enemy gods. And the gods in the game are probably the most powerful cards. And so it's really effective to specifically target enemy gods in your opponent's deck. And I will assure you that 98% of the decks you'll encounter will at least have 2 gods. That's really good here. So, just talking about Beacon of Hope, right? If you get a Poseidon, it will replace your leader ability with the Kraken. That's gonna be awesome as a new player to be able to play Poseidon for free. Like even Arachnes, Medusa, also you can have it. Hades, Athena, even if you don't have the Warcry for some of these cards, you really have good stats for 4 mana. Nike, Ares. So that's going to be really good. Now, moving forward, we're going to have Hades. And Hades is going to be your first big god, right? He's going to be a 2/6. And if you put that Stone of Gaia on him, he's going to be a 2/12. And then you can keep buffing him so he gains attack and health even more. And it also hinders your opponent. Because while he is in play, your enemy gods cost 1 more. So you can like unbalance their curve with Hades. That's really good. And he is range. Keep that in mind. That's really powerful also. We will have then Athena's, which you can put anywhere on the map, and it will deal 2 damage to all adjacent enemies. That can hit stones, that can hit so many stuff. It's really, really good. And you can start buffing her, or even just Stone of Gaia. She's going to be 3/12, hard to deal with. And you can start really seeing where the Stone of Gaia could go. And finally, we will have Ares, who's going to be a 4/8. And if you Stone of Gaia, this guy is going to be a 4/16. So you see, like, Stone of Gaia can be really, really scary with these three last targets. And if you like Sentry Ward one of your gods opponent, or Touch of Midas, and you get like I don't know, for example, a Terra or Sylvanas, that can be really hilarious. So yeah, lots of cools and weird combo that you can do. And Ares, he has a Warcry that whenever he enters the battlefield, you put an enemy and you stun them. So they won't be able to counterattack the move or to attack on their turn. And then if you have something on board, they can free attack the unit that Ares pulled to your army, basically. If they have like a Neith standing in the corner and sniping stuff. So that's going to be the curve. You can see it's really, really good early game, really good late game, some strong mid game. You have some removal tools with the judgments. They're well-rounded deck. So guys, I hope that you enjoy. I hope that you learned a lot. Let me think what you think of the deck. Keep in mind it's a beginner's deck, so only use 48 dust with 6 commons, and the rest of the cards are you know, all basic cards. Of course, if you have legendaries like Poseidon and stuff, you definitely want to play them. So don't forget, guys, to like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps me out to give you all that content and to continue in doing so when I know that so many people appreciate it. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you probably next week when I'm going to do Raw or Bellona beginner's deck in the next video. Thank you for watching.